stay stagnant because we don't know or afraid of what life has in store for us. Some of us are afraid of our own potential. Some of us are afraid that, well, if you're a God-fearing person, did God really say that? Did God really mean that? And the only way, right? The only way you're going to know what God has for you is if you begin to act on what you feel God has placed on your heart. Not what you feel that man has placed on your heart, not what you feel that your boss has placed on your heart, not what you feel that your wife has placed on your heart, what your husband has placed on your heart, your cousins, whoever, is what do you think God has placed on your heart specifically? And you have to get really clear on that, or as clear as you can, to develop a path. All right, well, Julian, I don't know. I don't know what that is. I don't know what to do. I'm not I'm not quite sure. How do I even get started? Let me help you. If you have your Bible, turn to Proverbs chapter 3. All right, familiar verse, but we're going to talk about this very quickly. Proverbs chapter 3, and we're going to go to verse 5. Proverbs 3 and 5 reads, "Trust in the Lord with all your heart, and lean not onto your own understanding." Okay? Your own understanding. "In all your ways acknowledge him, and he shall direct your paths." The reading of the word is blessed. What does that mean? All right, what does that mean? It means that first says trust in the Lord. So your first step is to begin to trust him. Your first step is to begin to say, okay, God, I believe that you have a plan for me. That's your first step. God, I believe you have a plan for me. I'm not quite sure on that plan, but God, I believe that you specifically have a plan for me because you said you knew me while I was in my mother's womb. And you had plans for me from that point. So if you had plans for me since I was in my mother's womb, then surely now, as a grown adult, surely now in my mid-age, surely now in my early to late teens, surely now, wherever I find myself, surely wherever I find myself, I trust that you know better than I know. So you have something specifically for me. So my first step is to trust. I trust you, Lord. Okay. Now that you trust the Lord, it then goes on to say, with all your heart. Okay. God, I trust you. I'm not focusing on what other desires may be in my heart. I'm not going to do things out of selfish ambition. I'm not going to do things out of pride. Everything that's within my heart, I give that over to you. And then it says, and lean not onto your own understanding. Okay? God may call you to do some things that may not make sense. Okay, so we're not leaning on what our daddies did. We're not leaning on what our mommies did. We're not leaning on what people around us did or are doing. We're leaning on the understanding of what God's word says. So God, I trust you. I trust you have a plan. Everything in my heart, I devote that to you. I'm going to not lean on mine, I'm going to lean on your understanding. So when you spend time, and this is why you have to have a prayer life. When you spend time in prayer, when you spend time reading your word, when you spend time in silence focusing, I have no notes in front of me, I have my Bible in front of me, just my Bible. When you spend time with this thing here, all right, with this thing here, carve out some time in your morning if possible, or late evening, whenever the time is the most quiet for you. I like the morning because it starts your day off right. I'm not a morning person, but it'll start your day off right. If you can, carve some time out when it's very quiet. Spend some time in prayer, spend some time reading his word, and ask him Lord, I thank you for this day. I thank you for life. I thank you for breath. I thank you for strength, Father. Show me what you have for me. Guide me to the right things. Give me the will and desire to follow whatever inkling you give me and move forward on. If you begin to move like that, if you begin to pray like that, if you begin to constantly do that, if you create that habit of prayer, all right? And all prayer is communication. Don't gotta be that deep. You don't gotta have big words. Prayer is just constant communication with him. If you can constantly communicate with him and ask him, God, I don't want to lean on my own understanding. Show me what to do. When he gives you an inkling to do something, you have to go and do it. You have to go and do it. Even the way I'm building up this YouTube channel, I have a plan for it. I thought I had a plan for it. God has shown me a different way, and he's showing me step by step. There are some things that I'm not going to do like other people because I'm not a YouTuber. All right, I'm a follower of Christ. I'm a man of Christ. I'm a man of God. So there's certain things I'm not going to do. I'm not going to move like other YouTubers. There's certain things that God has shown me, and as I begin to do and experiment with certain things, He should nope, don't do it like this, do it like this. And I just get this feeling that okay, that doesn't feel right to me. I'm gonna move like this. When you get that feeling, when you get that unction, you follow that unction. That's understanding that God is moving you. All right, because and you'll know that God is moving you because it's not going to be anything to harm you. It's not gonna be anything to hurt you. It's not gonna be anything negative. All right, it's all going to acknowledge Him because then it goes on to say, in all your ways, acknowledge Him. Okay, so you know you're moving the Jules. How do I know I'm moving in the right direction? When he asks you to do things that acknowledge him, and it may not make that sense much sense to you and your own understanding, you know you're moving in the right path. It's not harming you, it's not harming others, it's acknowledging him. You move forward on what is acknowledging him. And all your ways acknowledge him. So whatever you're doing on your job, whatever you're doing in your creative space, whatever you're doing in your artwork, whatever you're doing on YouTube, whatever you're doing in the business you're trying to create, whatever you are trying to do and trying to succeed at, all right, in your sports, whatever you're trying to do to succeed at, acknowledge him, give him glory, give him praise, give him honor in whatever you do. And do it not as you're doing it onto a boss. Don't do it as you're doing it for your coach. Don't do it as you're doing it for yourself. You're doing it to honor God. All right. And all your ways acknowledge him. And when you do that and you acknowledge him, then the final piece to that, all right, in verse 4, the end of verse 4, and he shall direct your paths. So we're not leaning on anybody else. We're following what God says. We're following his instruction. We're understanding that he has a certain path. We're gonna move on that path and we're gonna acknowledge him on whatever we do. And after that, then he's gonna give us a path. Because listen, we have our own plan, our own agenda. I have my own plan, my own agenda. But it's not my will, it's God's will. So it doesn't matter what I think. It doesn't matter what I want. It doesn't matter what I do. All right? It matters if I'm doing it for God. It matters it matters if my will. We have to pray, let my will align with your will, Father. That's my prayer. That's one of my many prayers constantly. I know I got my own will. I know I got my own things. God has given us free will. But let your will be done. All right, not my will. Let your will be done. And that's how you get clear. That's how you get clear. But if you don't begin to walk, if you don't begin to take a step, if you don't begin to move in a direction, if you just stay, hey, I'm scared, I don't know what to do, so I'm gonna stay in this one little spot. I'm not gonna take a step forward, I'm not gonna take a step backwards. I'm gonna stay right here. Jules, I'm staying right here because I'm afraid. If you don't try and launch into the deep, then God can't direct your path. Even if you are not leaning on your own understanding, even if you are trying to trust him, you have to act. Your faith has to be activated. So you have to launch your net. You have to throw your net into the deep in order to be able to get something. And if you throw and you throw it on one side, it might be the wrong side. God might redirect you, say, throw it on the right side of the boat. So all I'm trying to say is, get clear on you have to move and do something. You have to move and do something and ask God to guide you along the way. Get clear on what you want out of your life. Get clear on how you want God to lead you. Get clear on how you want to serve God. Get clear on that, and you activate and you take a step and you take action. Take that action. Take that, create what he's asked you to create. Build what he's asked you to build. And you build it step by step, brick by brick, piece by piece. You just keep building like Legos, you just keep putting the pieces on. And God is going to keep giving you pieces until it develops until the full picture of what he wants it to be. But you got to get clear that you even want it. You got to get clear, hey, God, I believe that you're asking me to build. I believe that you're asking me to go and speak to the youth. I believe that you're asking me to go and speak to my family about you, Father, and talk to people in general about Jesus. I believe you want me to spread your word and spread your gospel, Father. And I think that is in this way. Help me, Father. I'm going to move in this way. And if it's not, please close that door and redirect me and open up the door that's correct for me, Father. But you got to take a step and you got to get clear on what you want. Got to get clear on what you want. So that's my time for today. I'm going to try to scroll quickly through the comments, see whether y'all playing or not, or whether we got some serious comments in here. He's moving me and my family 2 hours north. I have no idea how I'm going to afford it, but I know where he's moving us. And that's from the Mikado 16. I'm sorry if I butchered your name. The Mikado 16. He's moving me and my family 2 hours north. So that means you've already sought God. See, this is trusting God. This is trusting God. See, God is funny because you said I have no idea how I'm going to afford it. See, God has asked us to do things sometimes with little to no money. Little to no money. All right. God has asked me to go and speak to youth. God has asked me to go and coach people who are hurting and go and help people who are hurting and spread his message of love and redemption. But guess what? I don't have the funds for that. I don't have the funds for that. God, the amount of people that I think you want me to reach, I don't have the funds for that. And just like I don't have the funds for that, but as I take a step, he provides. That's what he's going to do for you. That's what Mikado 16, that's what he's going to do for you. Your job is not to worry about how you're going to afford it. Your job is not to worry about where the money's going to come from. If God has called you to it, he's going to pull you through it. So your job is to have faith enough to take the next step. If God is Jehovah Jireh, my provider, then you have to believe that he's going to provide. Allow him to provide, to give you that provision. Give us this day our daily bread. Give us this day our daily bread. You're taking it day by day, step by step. Go to where God has called you. You said God has called you 2 hours north. Go 2 hours north and see what God has for you there. I guarantee that if God has really called you and you felt that thing in your spirit and God has really pulled you 2 hours north, go. When you get there, there'll be at the next level of provision. God takes it step by step so that way we don't get too, because we want to figure it all out. We want to figure it all out. We want X, Y, Z, A, B, C, 1, 2, 3. That's how we want it, but that's not how God operates all the time, because sometimes he knows that we'll get in our own way. Sometimes we'll get too fearful. If God showed you the whole picture right now on why he's pulling you and your family north, you might say, God, never mind. I don't think I'm your guy. I don't think I'm your girl. I don't think I'm your person. I don't think I'm that. I don't think, So he'll take us step by step. Step by step. Go step by step. Mikado 16 says, this is very helpful, brother. I thank God I ran into this live. I do trust God, but I get cold feet with him sometimes. That's natural. That's natural. Right? That's natural. But you said, I do trust, but I get cold feet. Okay. That tells me you have faith. That tells me that you have faith. Now, just keep walking forward. Just keep moving forward. All right? With the cold feet, just keep moving forward. With the, I'm not so sure, just keep moving forward. With the, is this going to work? God, I don't know how this is going to work out, but I know that I know my history with God. You're like a person who has a history with God. God has pulled you out of some things. God has shown you some things. God has illustrated some things for you. God has saved you. God has done things for you and your family in the past. So if he's done those things, rely on his history, rely on his track record. If he hasn't done anything for you in your life, rely on the track record that he has in his Bible, in this word. He has a track record of keeping his promises. He has a track record of blessing those who surely I will bless you. Surely I will bless you. So if God says, surely I will bless you, with the cold feet and all, let's keep moving. Let's keep moving. And I'm excited for you. I'm excited for you. And once you move north, if I'm still here on YouTube, please come back. Please come back. Leave me a comment. Send me a DM. Something. Let me know how God has provided for you. So then we can have a I want to say not a prayer party. We can have a testimony celebration. That's what we'll call it. I want to celebrate your testimony. Come on back once you go 2 hours north and God brings you to the next step. Come on back. God is with you. God is with you. And sometimes faith is taken. I heard somebody say this. Sometimes I think Tony Gaskins may have said this. Sometimes faith is taking a step in the dark. Taking a step in the dark, knowing you'll have a safe landing. Knowing you have a safe landing. We already established a Bible preaching church and joined it, got baptized with my wife and oldest daughter there. Listen, so you found a Bible-based church. They're teaching the word. They ain't teaching you no nonsense. They ain't teaching you what thus saith me, what thus saith is what thus saith the Lord. You already found that. You joined it. You got baptized. All right, which is an outward display of your faith on the inside. All right, okay. And you did it with your wife and your oldest daughter. So you have shown them the way. And you have said before God that I am in union and agreement with you, Father, and so is my family, right? Me and so is my family. You have prepared yourself and your family to be blessed. And not only will you be blessed, your wife will be blessed and your daughter will be blessed. So now we're talking about generational blessings because you decided to follow the Lord. So come on, let's do this thing. Let's do this thing. Keep on moving forward. I'm happy that you found a Bible-based church. I just want to hear your testimony. I just want to hear your success story because I know that God can do it. I know God will do it. He's already shown you. I don't know what you did prior to being baptized, prior to being in a Bible-based church. But you moved from whatever you were then to the old self to the new self. All right, now you're a new man, a new creature. So, and your wife is a new creature, so is your daughter. Allow the Holy Spirit to guide you. Allow the Holy Spirit to guide your family. He's going to do it. Yes, yes. I look forward to it. I look forward to it. I look forward to hearing your testimony. I really do. I love to hear what God is doing in other people's lives, and other people need to hear about it too, because for some of us need to see it to believe it, and so for those of us who need that, I can't wait. I can't wait. All right. All right. I got really excited. I didn't want to be longer, honestly, than about 10 or so minutes. I'm approaching 19 minutes, 18 and some odd seconds, 18 minutes, some odd seconds. Hmm, hmm. Let me read this and then I'm out. I'm still in Proverbs chapter 3. All right. Let me read this and then I'm out. Um, Honor the Lord with your possessions. This is verse 9. Proverbs 3, verse 9. Honor the Lord with your possessions and with the first fruits of all of your increase. So your barns will be filled with plenty and your vats will overflow with new wine. My son, do not despise the chastening of the Lord, nor detest his correction. It goes on, I'm on verse 12. For whom the Lord loves, he corrects, just as the Father, the Son in whom he delights. When you trust and you begin to give God back what is his. All right, God blesses us, he gives us certain gifts, and when you give those gifts back to him, all right, it talks about your barns being filled with plenty. and your vat's overflowing. All right. Trust in him long enough to get to that point. Trust in him long enough to see the overflow. Trust in him long enough to have enough abundance to then give back to him, to then see what he does with that. Trust him long enough. All right. And as he begins to cut certain things off, cut certain paths off, he does that because it says, do not despise the chastening of the Lord nor detest his correction. Right? God does these things for those who he loves. Allow him to cut off what he needs to cut off. He's not trying to hurt you. He is cutting off what he needs to cut off so your focus can be here. So your focus can be singular. So your focus can be on the one road that he needs you to be on. Allow him to do that. Allow him to chasten you. Allow him to place structure in life. Allow him to cut off some things. Allow him to correct some things so that your focus can be solely on him. All right. All right. I think that's enough. I think that's enough for today. I appreciate y'all. I plan to be back on Friday. Either video or either on live. I'll see you then. I'm trying to just calm myself down. Whew. Y'all take care. I'm just excited. Y'all take care and be blessed.